Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have to tell you something you probably already knew. Jared Leto's a creep, or at least he's being accused of it formally. In fact, this is being done by a major news organization, or what we used to consider a news organization before they just became state propaganda. You see, the BBC is saying that Jared Leto is a creeper. He's guilty, or possibly guilty, after 4 women, actually 10, accused Jared Leto of misconduct of a intimate nature. We're going to talk about this story, so stick around because here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I am trying to get to 50K, so just double check if you're here for your first time or your 1000th that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the subscribe button, absolutely free, and then hit the bell icon to turn on all notifications. That way you won't miss any of the stories that I report regularly or any of the live streams. And then, of course, hit the thumbs up button, and we'll get started here. Now, this comes first from the BBC. This story broke about 12 hours ago as I'm recording it, and as of the time you seeing it, will probably have been about 24 hours. Now, 4 women have accused Jared Leto of criminal conduct. Now, you're not supposed to say a lot of those words on the platform I'm on, but that's what's going on here. And this story was well sourced and put together, so we're going to jump into it. I've got a couple more responses to this story. So, from the print edition of the BBC, 4 women have accused Oscar-winning actor and 30 Seconds to Mars frontman Jared Leto of criminal conduct, intimate conduct, let's call it, with the alleged offenses having taken place when they were teenagers. Well, that's really, really bad and pretty disgusting, in my opinion. Maybe you don't share it, but I think you should probably save activities for after you're of an adult age and in full possession of your faculties in order to actually properly consent. That's what's being claimed here was violated. We'll take a look at one of the women saying that she was assaulted in a motel bathroom when she was 17. And another says that the Hollywood star threatened her with a assault also when she was 19 and had been unexpectedly left alone with him in a hotel room. Oftentimes that's a setup. You could probably talk to anybody that worked with Harvey and figure out that there are people that'll lead you into trouble in Hollywood. Beyond that, the third describes how she was underage with the star in California when she was 17, which would be classified as a problem. Leto shrugged off the conversation about the age consent being 18 in the state. And at the time, this was a big no-no. A fourth woman describes being aggressively preened by Leto, saying he abused his celebrity status by making repeated explicit phone calls to her when she was 16. On at least one occasion, she says he suggested they should have intimate relations. Now, all of this is part of a broader situation and circumstance. You see, the BBC put together a documentary. And it actually talks about 10 ladies that are really in pursuit of Leto for some really poor acts on his part. This particular 16-year-old was subsequently sent a non-disclosure agreement to prevent her from talking about her relationship with Leto, but the BBC has seen it. Yeah. And not only that, she didn't sign it or send it back. And you can't be compelled to follow something when it's about an illegal act, even if you've signed an NDA about said illegal act. 4 further women have said that they received strange and often very intimate phone calls from Leto when they were younger. In fact, there was a woman that said when she was 14, he instructed a security guard to take her backstage at a music festival after having made a lewd comment about her chest during an autograph signing. That doesn't sound good. The girl's mother confronted Leto, but he repeated the comment, "It is alleged." Well, wow. Okay, so he's shameless. But other stories have come out in defense of Leto, or I should say Leto defending himself. He, according to Mercury News, has denied the criminal conduct with teens alleged in the BBC documentary. Again, from 10 women, 9 of which have gone on the record, from what I'm to take away from the BBC's coverage. And several new accusers are alleging that Leto, just over a year after the Oscar winner denies claims of the impropriety that was laid out originally in a 2025 expose. 10 women speak out against the 54-year-old. Now, of course, the offenses were when he was 30 and 40-ish. So, somewhere in that range of 30s to 40s, he maybe cleaned up his act. I don't know. It's a little late to start doing that. But the BBC's special called Jared Leto Hollywood's Dark Secret, which premieres Wednesday. So, that would have been yesterday as you're watching this, details alleged misdeeds by the actor between 2002 and 2016. First of all, does anybody, find fault with this? Well, I'm not a real big fan of the believe all whatever from anybody. I think that there should be some proof or at least corroborating evidence that would support this, like the people actually being in the same building, state, or vicinity. You should also probably have witnesses that could break down what actually happened rather than a he said, she said kind of confrontation. This is where things get a little bit icky and why I find fault with what the state of New York and California both did in order to go after people that they claimed were perverts all along, despite knowing about it and the traffic that was used by particular casting couches over the course of many, many decades. Again, you draw your own conclusions from that, but this is a lot of smoke. Sometimes there's quite a bit of fire. There may be here. And I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon just because somebody else did. Now, in response, Leto says, I have never assaulted anyone, intimately assaulted anyone in my entire life, Leto said in a statement shared with the Daily News. These claims are absolutely and categorically false. Now, that's strong language. And probably coached language out of an attorney, making sure to make very clear that none of this actually happened, at least as far as Leto's concerned, or that he's willing to talk about. And again, a 16-year-old said that Leto was always making phone calls to him, and I think that's the same one that the BBC was talking about. One accuser, who uses the alias Isabel, says that when she was 17, the American Psycho actor went after her in a motel bathroom. I think we covered that one as well. But there are many, many of these women, according to this story, and while, the age of 19 might be considered an adult, maybe there wasn't a functional form of consent available. As this lady named Alex said that at 19, she was lured by Leto's female assistant to a London after party, and she pretended to be 17 in the hopes that it would save off Leto, which obviously the then 41-year-old said age is just a number. And anyway, we're in Europe. Ultimately, Alex says that Leto ended up in a hotel room with him where he threatened to assault her, though she managed to get away, and thank goodness for that. I would say that this actually establishes a pattern. Patterns are something that are powerful when it comes to accusations like this. But it's not going to keep the Hollywood press from your door or from sniffing around a story like this one, considering that Leto has been considered one of the darlings of the Hollywood star scene for a long period of time, despite these accusations not being hidden from public view for many, many years. I've been hearing about them for a while. How about you? So, from The Hollywood Reporter, because PMC Media wants to get in their digs, Jared Leto says, I have never, intimately assaulted anyone in my entire life, amid many fresh claims from the bombshell BBC doc. Again, you can watch the doc for yourself if you have BBC Player or you have access to BBC. This might be the time to do it. Maybe share clips, I don't know, but it's an interesting story nonetheless. And as we read further, in a short statement given to THR via his team on Wednesday, Leto said, I have never intimately assaulted anyone in my entire life. These claims are absolutely and categorically false. As I said before, very well-practiced line, I'm sure, with him and his attorney. Now, earlier in the day, Jared Leto Hollywood's Dark Secret dropped bombshell claims against the actor and the 30 Seconds to Mars rocker. I guess he's some kind of a musician. I've never heard anything he's done. I don't really care. But you have about 10 different women making allegations, 4 of them accusing him of criminal level conduct and also in underage situations, which here in the States we don't look very positively upon. Look, this is going to be regurgitation of this same information for a time immemorial. I don't think we'll be able to get away from this story for a while, but I wanted to bring it to you so you'd be aware and be maybe very careful when you're in the presence of celebrities. The good ones, like Keanu Reeves, will practice hover hands, and the bad ones will do bad things, apparently, if given opportunity. Let's hope that somewhere in here there's some kind of viable proof one way or another, because I don't enjoy when people are falsely accused, and I'm also not thrilled when people make accusations that fall on deaf ears if there's actually some truth to it. But hey, how about you? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Jared Leto is a creep? Do you think the BBC may have acted hastily or maybe have edited deceptively? I mean, they have a history of doing that. Do you think there's actual truth in these accusations, or is it a financial grab at a Hollywood actor's wallet? It's a good question. I ask you to answer them in the comments section below. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. Hopefully with some happier news like a Spider-Man review. Coming to you live Thursday night for members and Friday morning for the rest of you. Have a great day, everybody.